Hi, welcome. So in the last video, we looked at some basic commands in Git. And in this video, we are going to look at how to initialize a Git repository. So you add Git to it. And then from there, you can be able to use your Git commands to be able to save or commit any changes you make so that subsequently you can access these changes, go back to old changes like 5 steps away, and be able to continue to improve on your project. So let's just go straight to the computer and see how to initialize Git and be able to commit some of the changes that you've made in your code or in your project. So here we are here. I just created this folder, and in this folder I have two projects. So there is the empty project and there is the project one. So this project one has a file, a text file. The empty project doesn't have any file in it. So I just want to show you how you can initialize Git both for an empty folder and for a folder that already contains some data or information files. So if you've been building your Excel projects or your SQL projects or your Python projects, and then you've not been able to push them to GitHub, you probably have them in a folder like this. A project like maybe your Python project is in a folder like this, and this is your Jupyter notebook, for example, and maybe the data set. So you might want to initialize this with Git so that you can be able to push it subsequently to GitHub, which will show you still in this series. So let us see now this folder here, how we can initialize this folder with Git and commit or save any changes we make as we are working in this folder. So I'm going to go here. The first thing is I'll do a cd space. Then I want to get into this file called project. So I could simply just type a P, then I press a tab, and it's going to complete it for me because it's the only one that has P. Same as if I want to come here, I could type an E, and it's going to complete the empty project for me. Or else you just type it project one as it is. So now I'm inside project one, as you can see, and I can now initialize my repository. So if, for example, I open up, I go to file, go to folder, let me just go to open folder, and then I go to project one. You see there is no folder here yet, but soon you are going to see a .git folder here that will be created. So let me go back, because if I go to file, let me go to file, for example, you would see that there is a file here, the test file, which is what we've seen here. But then let me initialize this now, git init. That's all I need to type. And then if you see now, there's a master branch here. So this is the master for the project. So this is the main branch. This is what we can push to GitHub. And if you want to create sub branches, maybe you want to improve the color or some specific part of the major project, you can branch out and then work on it and then merge it back to this master and push this master, save it, push it back online to GitHub, for example. So this is the main branch of the project. So this is where we are. And if I go back here to my file, go to open folder, then I go to sample, go to project one, I see I have a whole .git folder here. So these are different folders that have been created just with this single line, and it's now responding as the master here. So that is a way to create for the project file. And even for this empty project, I just simply need to do a cd ... come out of there. Then now I do another cd now, E, and tab. I'm in the empty project. Now I run its own git init. So it's been initialized again. And then you have now its own file here, as you can see, master. And if I go here again, click on my folder, then I go to empty project, I have its own .git here, which is having all those files that we've seen before. So something I could do is type a git status. So this is a command that we use a lot, git status. And it tells me I'm on the master branch, no commits yet. I haven't saved anything yet. And then, yeah, nothing to commit. So if you want, you can add, click on git add. So what does this do in reality? It adds to a staging area. So to be able to organize our work, GitHub has made it in such a way that you don't just type maybe from here git commit whatever you change. You need to first do a git add to a staging area. So it's like middle area also. Then when you're sure or you're confirm of what you want to commit, then you type now the git commit from there. So this might be good if you've done 4 changes, and then those 4 changes, you don't just want to save them as one save point. Remember, commit is like a save point. Remember, think of a video game. Each level or each save point in even in the same level, you can save so that you don't start the level from 0 all the time. So each time you have a save point, it's like a commit. There might be times that you've done 4 changes in Git and you don't want to just save all 4 as one commit. You want to split them. Maybe the first 2 were concerned with changing the colors of your web page or whatever application, and the second 2 were concerned with maybe modifying some calculation or some formula. So you want to split them to 2 commits. So in the staging area, you have 4 things that you've added to the staging area, but then you're going to commit 2 per commit, for example. That's just an example. So here in this case, we want now to just add a file. So we can go here to the empty project, and then let's just go here, file. Let's go to file, just go to sample, go to empty project, and then we just create a file here. So we're just going to say, give us a new file, just call it maybe test, for example, and that's just a file we've added there. So let's just click on open. So let's close this. So now we have, no, let's cancel this. So we have our empty file, and then we have this text inside here. So maybe if we want, we can type anything. Say this is a doc, this is a sample doc or sample doc, whatever we want to type there, that's okay. So that's fine. Now I'm just going to Control S, save it, whatever I want. So now I have a new file, and if I type now again git status, so I can say git status. Another way is just pressing the up arrow, just the up arrow, it takes you to the previous command. So if I press another up, it takes me to the git init a cd empty project. So I'm just going to go down to git status. Now there is this red which says the text.txt is a file that you can, it's saying on track files. So use git add file to include. So I'm just going to use this git add here, as it said. I'll just type it here, it's not long. So I'm just going to say git add, and then now what is the name of the file? Test.txt. Then I press enter, and then I type now a git status again. It's going to tell me now that there's a new file, so changes to be committed. So I've added this with the git add to the staging area. It's waiting now for me to, maybe if I'm fine, I can now commit these changes, or I can remove them, remove from the staging area, go back again, work again, add to the staging area. And when I'm happy, then I do the commit and save. So the commit is like saving it. So I can take this command again here and say I don't want that file to be added. I can say git rm -- cache, then I say test.txt. So if I run that and then I type a git status, I'm just going to go back up to git status. You see it's still showing again that this file has gone back here. It's like I've changed this, but I've not added it yet to the staging area. So it has gone back to here. So it's not ready here in the staging area waiting for the commit signal to go to save. So here I can decide to do so many changes, maybe many changes. I can even decide to add another file here. So we could say, let's just create another file. I'll just go maybe just add a new file here again, new text file, then maybe call it test2 or so. So let's just do that. Now when we do that, now if we come here, we want to add here, so git add, git, then okay, let me just do a git status first. Git status. So you see we have 2 files now, and we don't want to be doing a git add file one by one. Maybe we have like 50 files that we've added here. So the simple command to do is just to do a git add dot. So it adds everything. And again, if you run your git status, which is something that you should always check, you'll see that all the 2 have been added at once. So this git add space dot saves you the pain of clicking git add text.txt, git add text2.txt, git add text3.txt. You just use a git add dot and it adds everything for you. So you have your git status now. These are all your things here. And then you can now commit. So you can now commit. So I can say git commit now. So I'm finally saving. and then I'll say minus m is a message. You should leave a message. You must leave a message. So I want to say maybe added some text files. So it should be very representative of what you have done. Don't just write change whatever. I mean, you should really write something that is real, because you'll be able to refer to this sometime later. So added some text files, or added 2 text files if you want to be specific, you know, added 2 text files or so. I mean, just make something, write something that you can always remember. And then now I'm going to press that. So it says 2 files changed. So these are the insertion, 1 insertion, so 1 line, and then it's now telling me all that was done. So if I do type more here, it's going to tell me plus all the lines that I added. So because I didn't add the other line there. So now if you now decide to go and say add more commits, you can add more commits, maybe change a couple of things here. Then after that, you add them again, add them again, add them again. So if, for example, I do that and I press Ctrl S, I save, then I come back here and I press git status. Git status. It is still telling me that there are some things that have been modified. So I can still go to a git add. Then I can go to another git commit again. Now I need to change the text to represent what I just did. So maybe this is where you need to comment clearly what you just did. So I can say I modified, for example, I just want to show you. So you see I modified the text.txt file, for example, just to add a couple of things. So I mean, it should really be representative. I'm just writing this just for demonstration purpose, but then it should be representative. And then you see it tells you 5 insertions. So 5 things were added and 1 was deleted. So it informs you on all that you've done here. So now you can decide to do a git log, for example. So git log. So it's going to show you all your commits. So the first commit you did and done by me, and this is the date. So modified text.txt, added 2 files. So these are in, you see, in the order. So this is the last one, this is it on top, then the one before. So you can also, if it's too long, you can do a git log -- one line, and then you just have it here. So this commit here, this is what was done, this commit, this is what was done. So it's very interesting to understand how to use this. So we are going to continue in the next video with other interesting things. So I hope you were able to learn how to initialize your repository and being able to do your add to the staging area, and also commit your changes from the staging area to your commit, which is like the save point. So see you next video. Wish you good data luck.